Hello, hello, everyone. Make sure I am live this time. Let's see here. Everyone, make sure I am live this time. All right. Yep. Everyone, make sure I am live this time. I got an echo here. Yep. Hey, postcards and more, and Julie. Hey, we got some people already. Great. So, how are you guys doing? There is a definite delay. It's kind of weird to see my lips move and no sound. Anyways. Good. What have you been listing, Julie? Hey, Elaine. I've been working on my video from the flea market, so I'm hoping to get that out for Friday. So I have some chocolate mint tea here in my guinea fowl mug. So what are you guys drinking? All right, so see here, Julie, Florida postcards. Okay, Florida postcards. Yeah, I hope they're better than the ones I got. So they will sell eventually. Yep. Hey, Memphis. Nice to see you. So we have a lot of resellers here, and yeah, so okay, so I only have 4 questions from before. So if you have questions, please let me know, or it's going to be a very short one. And you might hear roosters going off. We'll see if they'll be quiet while we do the video. I gave them some bird seed before I started, so we'll see if they're busy. So did anyone go to Matt's auction today? Is he done yet? I haven't really done a lot, attended a lot of whatnots because I just have a lot of stock. Let me see. Okay, so I'll give it a couple minutes. Yeah, the Florida agriculture cards, they are, people do like them, but I don't normally sell them for more than $4 or $5. I don't know what you guys sell them for. Hello, Michelle. So Steve, an interesting thing I learned about celery when I was in Pennsylvania is that when there's a marriage in the Amish country, they grow a lot of celery for that because they make some kind of dish with it. So one of the signs that somebody's getting married is they grow extra celery. All right. Okay, so let's see here. So somebody said they had an echo. Does anyone else hear anything? Hopefully this is going okay. Okay. All right, so no, okay, no. Hi, Kim. So no meaning no echo, I think. Okay, good. You fixed it. I'm glad it's not on my end because I'm not very, oddly enough, I'm not that tech savvy. Well, hello, Steve and niece. Good to meet you. So, do you want to share her name or what she likes? That's fun. Oh yeah, I keep things PG rated, not like some other ones, but that's just the way I am. So, but it's a good reminder. So. Okay, so I'm going to jump into one question that I had. It's been a question I think that I haven't answered for a little while, and it's from Kane6676. And they asked, what is the advantage of having an actual eBay store to just selling on eBay? So, if you want to let me know, do you have a store and what level you have? And if you want to post that. I have a basic store. I did a lot of research before I started to see which one would be the best one. And I started with the basic because if you look at the levels, there's a starter store, and which is $5 a month, but there really is no benefit to it unless you want to have like that store banner and it look like a store. So the basic store is what I started with, and it says that you get 1,000 a month for listings. But I think with all the promotions, I get about 9,000, 8 to 9,000. Okay. Hi, Harper. Nice to meet you. So the benefit is that you can list more for less fees, because if you add up the fees per the listing, then you might as well just get a store. And the insertion fees are different. At certain levels, the other fees are less. So yeah, I think that if you really want to have more than 250 listings, you want to have a store. Is it 250s? Let me just double check. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of free listings, which it doesn't tell you when you sign up that you're going to get all these extra promotional listings. And of course, eBay could take that away from us at any time and say, we're done with that. And then you'd have to upgrade your store, which is the next one is the premium store, which is $60 a month. So it's almost 3 times as much money. So I don't know if there's promotions on the next store level or not. If anybody has a premium store, maybe you can chime in. And then after that, there's the Anchor store, which is $300 a month, 25,000 listings, and the Enterprise, which I don't know anyone who has the Enterprise store, which is 3,000 months. You really have to be a serious seller then. Oh yeah, coupons for supplies. You get shipping, like a coupon for the eBay shipping store. At the level basic store, you get $25 every quarter, so 4 times a year. And then I think it's $50 for the next level. I don't remember if there's other benefits. Let's see. Yeah. I think that's about it. So yeah, I think it's if you want to up your game, then you want to do the store. Okay, so all of my questions that I have here are reseller related. So if you guys have questions that are outside of that, feel free to ask those too. Okay, so Steve Memphis says having a store makes it easier for buyers to to search your store, which is very true, because you can set up. You have it looks more like a storefront, and you can set up your own categories, and you have a search bar. So with me, I have nearly 6,000 listings, so it really helps if somebody has a search bar if you're looking for a certain thing. Good point. Okay, Julie asks, do you use social media to promote or share your listings? Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, others. I have not. And for one reason is that I just don't have and just don't take the time. I have a lot of other stuff that I do. But I know some people do. I've thought about reviving my Facebook page. It's not hard to do it, but you have to put time into it. Do you guys do any of those other ones? I only really do Facebook for social media besides YouTube because I'm trying to do less social media because it takes so much time out of my life. But if I would do a page, I would probably do it on Facebook. Elaine, thanks, Elaine. Thanks for hanging in there for all the reseller videos, and I know that you're not either, and I appreciate you watching them. Elaine has a channel, and it's about her autoimmune adventure. So I enjoy watching her stuff. So if you are looking for another channel that highlights that would be great to check her out. So let's see. Okay, got another question here from Sandra Wilcox. How many cards do you list per day/week, and how long does it take you? All right. So I hope you guys can answer this to you for the other resellers. But I like to list about 1,000 cards a month if I can, 500 to 1,000. So I used to try to have a daily quota, but some days you can do more than others. It depends on the cards. I've been listing some art postcards, and they're so fast to list because all I have to do is change a little bit in the title. All of the setup's the same. So I can whip through those quickly. And then there's international ones, which you have to look up some, and those take longer. So I stopped doing the daily kind of quota thing and just try to list. And some days I just list like crazy. Like I think I did 50, in a couple of, last night. And some days maybe I only managed 10 to 20. So how about you guys? How many do you guys list? And I actually did some calculations about how many postcards I have here that aren't listed, and it's more than what I have listed. So that's another reason why I haven't been going to the Whatnot auctions, is because I just have too much stock on hand. But I would like to get up to the 20,000 range, because that would be, you have more of a steady sales day by day. Okay. So Steve, you do some seller stuff on Twitter. You don't have enough followers. That's another thing, is if you're going to put your time into a social media account, you have to put that time in to build up your audience, to have the following, whether you're advertising on the platform or through the people who purchase from you. It all takes time. Okay, Julie, you do 120 to 150 a day. That's pretty good. Or 50 to 80. That's a really good amount. So, um, how how many cards again? I think you said you had a lot of listed items. Okay, so all right. So Julie Green asks a question. Do you use Excel files to bulk list on eBay? Does it save you time? Do you cross post? And if yet, yes, which platforms? I don't use the Excel sheet to list on eBay. For some reason, I just use the lister, the general lister tool that they have on eBay. I think I could look into it, but sometimes it doesn't seem like it takes long to list. And I don't know how you could do it any quicker, but maybe I'm wrong. So if anybody does like a bulk lister or the Excel, chime in and let me know if it is a time saver for you. And do you cross post? Yes and no. I used to have a hip postcard store. I closed that last November when it stopped, when they had the glitchy stuff with eBay. So that was when it worked. It was wonderful, and it was is an automatic. It would automatically pull eBay stuff, so I didn't have to think about it. Right now, I do cross list on Bonanza because it doesn't cost me anything, and every once in a while I get a sale, and they automatically pull my listings from eBay, and they actually do take it off of eBay if it sells. So I've only sold like a few postcards, but it's pretty effortless. I also think that it's a good idea to have a second platform because if something happens to eBay, then like they decide to put you on suspension or what whatever, or they have a glitch. I've heard stories. I've never experienced it of people losing listings. It's good to have a second platform that is kind of a backup copy. Hello, mind and body. Henry, good to see you. Oh, so Julie, you do Bonanza as well. That's good. I'm actually thinking about building up a little bit more on Etsy and some of my duplicates. But then I wouldn't do like a cross listing tool. I would actually manually say I have this many and not relate it to eBay. Okay, so Memphis says that he loves history. He has problems. He loves history, and you start researching a topic so you can describe it better. It is a rabbit trail. I actually do that too. There was one postcard I had. It had something. It was from France, and it said something about this big fish in the harbor. And then I did the research, and it was a story about a boat called the Fish, and it's like this fascinating story. And like I wish I could put all this in there. So yeah, I think a lot of us who sell ephemera are history lovers, and that's why we like selling it. Okay, next question is from Steve Helton. Have you ever had a postcard produced or made for your own use? And if so, could you share that experience? Thank you. I have not, but I'm thinking about it. We like to take pictures, do a lot of photography as we travel around Montana. We've actually started to actively take photos that we could make into postcards. So it's kind of one of those percolating, in the background things that we like to do. But honestly, I see people that sell postcards and they only sell them for like between $1 and $5. And you have to print them and do all that work. And it's almost better to just sell the vintage because you can get them for cheaper and sell them for more. But it would be kind of fun. Okay, so Mind and Body says that they do eBay, Etsy, and almost anywhere else where you can sell physical or digital products. That's pretty good. So, do you sell cross list items, sell the same things on all those sites, or do you list different things on each site? Okay, so Julie Green asks, are you talking about Amazon's print on demand program? For me, if you're asking me, no, I was thinking about actually, making postcards on and having them printed on different sites. There's different places where you can get things printed, whether it's, I can't think of any of them right now, but there's a lot of like you can get where you get your promotional things printed. You can get postcards done too. But I haven't thought about Amazon's print on demand. That would be interesting. I don't, for some reason, didn't consider that. But you also want to find cards, places that actually make nice postcards too. Okay, postcards and more. Question about pricing, your race to the bottom thoughts. Yeah, we've all seen the listings that are penny listings or 99-cent listings for postcards and that are auctions, and we wonder how they can make a profit. It's basically in bulk. They're probably making pennies, if anything. So my thought is, in the beginning, I did undercut prices. When I was just starting, because I'm just you'd experiment with things. But I'm finding more and more now as I go through that if I'm going to have these things, these postcards, behind me, if they're going to be in my inventory probably for years, then I would rather err on the side of going up in price than selling low, except if there's like tons of cards. And I also have my antique booth, which I sell postcards off. So the lower ones go there. So I don't know how you handle it, the lower value cards. If you don't have that, but I like with Montana cards, I want to have like the regular price or even higher. Like I think you've seen Popeye's postcards, his what's sold videos, and he says this card has been in my inventory for 6 years. So in 6 years, if inflation happens too, if you've had it that long, so maybe a card that at one time is valued at $6, way back then, maybe it's valued higher now. I think prices can change. Or there was this one card I sold really quickly. I don't remember where it was from, but somebody said it was related to a TV show that was popular. So could be trends that have pop up. So you might as well try to get the right price for things if you are in it for the long haul. So what I like to do is price things up a little bit from the recent sold. So if things, sell for $5, I might put $5.97 on it with make offer, because then I'm willing to go down and put that wiggle room into it. So I really don't like the race to the bottom because it undervalues the cards too. And if people are willing to pay the price, then you keep that value on them. I know. So let me know your thoughts too. So that's where I am right now. I might change my mind, in 6 months. But right now I'm trying not to undercut and go to race to the bottom. Okay, Kim Z says, I only sell postcards at my antique booth, but was thinking about selling online. Do you think the time and effort is worth it? I do, Kim, because I sell the majority of my postcards on eBay, and you can get really a higher value amount because your audience is so much bigger, unless you have a really good audience at your antique store. I'm in Montana, and we don't even have a postcard club, or I think we have a stamp club. And there isn't the culture here or the population to support larger, higher value amounts on postcards, even, except if it's Halloween or something. So I think it is. So if you could take some of your postcards that are more desirable, maybe some of your real photo postcards or some street views or whatever, and experiment with them, see if it works. Okay, so Steve says you ignore the cheap prices and go a little higher. Same thing I do. And that per worth point prices were higher 6 to 8 years ago. There is that too. The postcards have gone a little softer in price because the collectors are literally dying out in some ways, but there are new collectors coming up too. So there are different trends in collectibles, and the same is true with postcards. So what used to be people used to like to collect are going to be different because we all are trying to buy a little bit different piece of history or memories. Okay, Jay Smith. Hard to understand that it seems like the best match search punishes the $2 listings. Often there's one or two sold for $4 and tons of cards sitting at lower prices. Yeah, are you? If I think you're meaning on eBay, um, so there are. If you're meaning how they're ranked when you search for a certain card, at the top are going to be the promoted listings. So it might be because people paid extra for to be at the top. And yeah, prices are all over the place on postcards. It's so arbitrary. Yeah, and eBay will want to promote things that will make them more money too. Right? They're trying to make money just like we are, although they make a lot more. Hey, see the lights. Welcome. Okay, so it's all been reseller questions so far. Keep the questions coming. You can ask anything, and I'll try to answer. Okay, I have a question from Andy Robinson, and he says you have to have quality and quantity. That was in response to the Florida postcard video one. How many postcards did you have listed when you began to see your postcard sales begin to be steadier? And that's a really good question. I think it was for me around 4,000 listed postcards where I would consistently get at least one sale a day. Of course, lately, I had 2 days in the last couple months that I didn't have any sales because it's the summer slowdown or the economy stuff going on. So that's where I saw more consistent sales. So I would love to hear how you guys, when did you see your consistent sales? When, if you noticed it at a certain amount of inventory? Okay, Julie says that Chromes are doing well. I need to look into Continentals. Yeah. When I started listing Continentals, I was surprised at that they sold pretty well. I mean, not all of them will, but even stuff like there was a picture of I think it was a Florida Panther, and somebody bought it. It was like only 10, 20 years old. So people are collecting everything. It's really hard to pin down why they're collecting things. Okay, Mind and Body says that sometimes you get very lucky and the orders just flow in, and then sometimes they're slow. Like the first month, they made $600 in 14 days. That is pretty good. So, yeah. And do you sell mostly books, right? Or do you sell other things? Interesting enough, at my antique booth, the last 2 months I have made rent on the first within the first couple days, and I think that people get paid at the beginning of the month, so there's a lot more people out buying, and especially at in stores, but maybe online too. So Memphis says, selling postcards is selling nostalgia. So chromes and eventually continentals have become nostalgic to someone, which is very true. In the antique business, I've been in it for quite a long time. It used to be milk glass and crystal and, knick-knacky things, and certain things were very popular. And now, those things are not. It's people, the new generation has different nostalgia for things. So those trend, it's antiques, but antique and vintage have trends. Hey, Kelly, welcome. You have a lot of meetings. Seems like you're always going to one or coming from one. Okay, Elaine asks, do you often know the resale value of something when you are picking up new cards for your inventory? Well, okay, I've been doing this for a year since, basically since June. So in the beginning, I didn't. So it was just discovery. But now when I'm picking up, I've got a little bit more idea. I know some people take cheat sheets with lists of certain towns that will do well or certain views, but I don't do that. I go in instinct, maybe because I've done antiques for a long time. So sometimes I do, and sometimes it's a guess. There's sometimes when I pick up a card and I think this is great. I can't wait to, this is probably a $50 card, and I come back and there's like, 50 other ones on eBay. So it's like, okay, $5, $10. So for me, it's a lot of guess and instinct. Okay, so Jay Smith said they had a 70s or 80s Continental to a guy who said his mother was in the photo. I've heard of those stories because, yeah, that's one thing with the Continentals is that the people in there may still be alive. There was another one I saw about, I don't know whose channel it was, but his wife was in the photo. Okay, so Mind and Body, when they made 600 selling vintage posters. That is pretty cool. Second generation anarchist book publisher. Neat. I'm actually getting back into writing again, trying to finish, get that Montana book written. Bye, Julie. Yep, I'll try to do it again. All right. So does anybody have any non-reselling questions or other reselling questions? I've used all the ones I had up ahead of time. Otherwise, this will be a quick one, and we'll just do another one later on. See the Light says another story about the buyer who knew the person in the postcard. That's really neat. Yeah, I kind of wonder about those old postcards. If how in today's world you have to get signed agreements if somebody's in a photo that you took, or they could come back and sue you or make you stop making stuff. Forgot what that's called. But I wonder in the old postcards if they ever did that, if they could just take a picture and not worry about getting everyone's signed agreement. Okay, postcards and more. How important do you think adding specifics is? The item specifics? I'm not really sure, because I don't do a lot of item specifics. I did do more in the beginning when I first started out and spent more time on listing. But I'm averaging with the 6,000, almost 6,000 listings in inventory. I'm averaging about 4% sell-through rate without adding a lot of item specifics. So I think that's not too bad in the postcard reselling world. I think I'm doing okay without them. And I don't have a lot of confidence that in the next iteration of eBay's improvements to their site that they're going to change it again. And then you would lose all those specifics. So a lot of times I just put the information in the description or the title instead of relying on eBay setup. Okay, Jay Smith, what do you think is the best way to handle duplicates that are slightly different from each other? Writing on back so you can't do multiple listings of the same card. I've done two different things. And the first thing one is to just have separate listings. And I did that last night where I had two postcards that were the same on the front, but the back, they were addressed differently in different postmarks. So I just made two different listings. I don't want to do like multiple quantities if they have differences, because I think that could be confusing to the buyer. And the other thing I've done is just listed one, and then I have in my inventory, I have the second one behind it. And I have a folder on my computer that's labeled multiples. So when the first one sells, then I will relist it and upload the second set of photos. But then I have to remember that I have that. Yeah, that's a little bit more complicated, but you could do it either way. Okay. So Elaine says, I've never been to Montana. If someone was going to visit, where is a vacation place you would recommend? That's hard because there's so much to see. I think if you really want to see mountains, a lot of people come to Yellowstone and Glacier, which is beautiful. And I probably don't need to recommend that because probably a lot of you guys have been there or want to. But some other places that are interesting, I really liked Butte. It used to be like called the richest hill on earth, big into mining town. It has such rich history. The oldest restaurant in the United States is there. So you could do the underground mine and everything. So that was a really neat place to go. Missoula is always nice. It's just so busy right now with the new people moving in. If you like skiing, there's Big Sky, Red Lodge, Bozeman, a lot of different things. Helena is great for history too, and they do actually have a lake there, of a sizable one. There's not a lot of lakes, so a lot of things. I mean, a lot of places I would recommend. So. Okay, so Kelly says 4% is better than average for postcards. So hopefully I got my math right on doing, last time I calculated, I think I'm down though right now because it's been a little slower right now. So Memphis only adds item specifics if it's something someone's searching for. Mind and Body says item specifics, always try to fill out every last one if it doesn't make sense. I know. Okay. All right. So we've got multiple ends at both ends of the spectrum of, minimal and lots of item specifics. So it would be interesting to do an experiment if you have like multiple cards and do one with all the item specifics and one with hardly any. So that would be an interesting thing to see which one would sell first. Oh, so Memphis puts a note in the custom SKU spot that tells them to list the second one. So that's a good idea too. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think about that. Okay. I get dry, guys. I've one of my autoimmune issues is Sjogren's, and it dries up stuff, so I'm drinking a lot of tea here. I might have to, end it early because I have to go to use the restroom. So, okay. Postcards and more. Since you live in a real area, do you mean rural? I think. How far is the nearest town? So we do have technically, there's a little town here called Molt, M-O-L-T. It has grain elevators, a little tiny post office, a firehouse, and a schoolroom. And one time I mentioned to somebody, we have a one-room schoolhouse, and somebody corrected me and said, no, it's a two-room schoolhouse. We just use one room. So it was a two-room schoolhouse. So the nearest town would be Billings, and that's about 25 miles away. And we're equally distanced almost to Columbus and Laurel. So that's 25 miles to the nearest gas station or anything. So Memphis drove through Butte once. It is a big hole in the ground. And it's also a super fun site because it's toxic water. They kind of jokingly told us during the tour of the Berkeley Pit in Butte that if you fell in, this is no joke, but if you fell in, you would not survive because it's so toxic. So they talked about the early gangsters and how they probably got rid of the bodies. Okay, so Elaine, if you do come to Montana, let me know. Maybe we can meet up for coffee or something. And it really depends on what you want to see and what you like. There's a lot of scenery. We do have, things like museums and other stuff, but there's not as much theater as the way I grew up with. There's some, and a lot of times it's just in the summer. Theater, what I mean, like live plays and things. Okay. All right. Any more questions? Oh, here we go. Memphis went to its postcard show last weekend. I want to go to one. I'm going to be going to one in October. One thing I learned was that collectors will collect all topics. One guy came and asked about postcard with bees on them and typewriters. Bees and typewriters at the same time, or bees or typewriters? Because I don't know if there's a lot of postcards that have both on them. But yeah, it is interesting to see what people want to buy. I mean, I told on my recent What Sold, I mentioned people keep buying fish. Of all things. I mean, there was a picture of a dead fish and somebody bought it. I don't know. Okay, 2 topics. Okay. I have not seen a lot of postcards with typewriters on them, except modern ones where they make them look vintage. A lot of times they like to put typewriters on them. And not a lot with bees. So, interesting. Alrighty, so I don't think there's any more questions. So I'm probably gonna, unless you guys, I know there's a little lag in what I'm talking and when I see the comments, but let's see here. Okay, seller was creative and suggested advertising postcards for typewriters. Yeah, I mean, if you can find some advertising cards. I haven't seen a lot for typewriters, or any, I should say. Most of the advertising cards are for businesses that I've seen, or coffee or clothing. That'd be interesting. Well, I'm glad that I'm not here talking to myself. So thank you guys for coming. I hope the timing worked because I think I might have had the time that I put on here from StreamYard might have been off a little bit. So hopefully you guys didn't confuse anyone about the start time. But yeah, we should do this again. Let me know how often you want to do it, every month or every couple of weeks. We don't have to do a Q&A. We could do a topic and talk about it too. So yeah, thank you, C. Hit the like button. I always forget that. You think I'd remember. Funny enough, after I put out my video of how the channel's changing, I lost a few subscribers, but it'll come back. I've done that before. So thank you guys all for coming. And like usual, hope you have a joyful day. So I'm going to sign off here and see you guys all later. Thank you for coming. Oh, yeah. Topics would be great. So before I sign off, if you want to tell me what topics you want to talk about, whether it is reselling or not. Okay. Catch you later. Bye-bye.